And this spot is within hearing distance of the big tunnel, where the ghost of old Henry Dixon had reportedly taken up residence about 40 years.
His murderer took his body into the tunnel, so they believe.
But when we shined our lights up, there was nothing there.
Then we didn't come here at night. In fact, we didn't plan to.
There is more to the Hoosier State than high school basketball and cornfields. There is something hidden, something mysterious. The Tunnelton Tunnel in Tunnelton, Indiana, is legendary for being the most frightening spot in southern Indiana, attracting paranormal enthusiasts and every other crazy person nearby. Being nicknamed the Big Tunnel, it's 1,750 feet in length. Stories range from person to person, but almost every tale about this tunnel talks about a man who was beheaded or some guy missing a head. This headless guy now haunts the big tunnel and has been seen by many visitors. Most claim he carries a lantern in one hand and his head in the other. Originally built in 1857, the Big Tunnel lies right alongside the White River near Bedford, Indiana. Urban legend has it that during construction, the crew dug through an old graveyard, awakening restful spirits. As a result, the Big Tunnel has been forever cursed. The Big Tunnel has also been an infamous site for many accidents. In 1907, there was a train accident that occurred in the tunnel. While no one was killed, there was a giant pileup of train cars. Survivors of the accident were badly wounded. While exiting the tunnel, one survivor claimed the air in the darkness became foul-smelling, like the smell of death. This was a premonition for events that would follow. 1 year later, in 1908, the tunnel was the location for a grisly murder. Henry Dixon, a 35-year-old night watchman at the tunnel, was found murdered just by the entrance. According to local folklore, Dixon received a fatal blow to the head while being robbed by his fellow employees. Legend has it, Dixon still wanders the tunnel to this day, headless, exacting revenge on anyone who comes to the tunnel at night. Some people claim to hear him wail in the darkness, and some claim to have rocks thrown at them. Nonetheless, the spirit of Dixon is a pissed off entity. I mean, can you blame the dude? The story of Headless Dixon isn't the only horrible event to occur at the Big Tunnel. During World War I in 1917, local legend has it that one of the guards on duty hung himself at the tunnel. Used for hauling military equipment, the railroad tracks were heavily patrolled by military personnel. One night, there were two guards on duty. One hollered to the other guard, only to find out there was no response. Upon investigation, he found his fellow officer hanging from the entrance of the tunnel. These are some of the few examples of urban legends that circulate around the Tunnelton Tunnel. Presently, the Tunnelton Tunnel has been the location for satanic worship and rituals. Locals have claimed While they were in the tunnel, they came across dead animals being hung on the side of the railroad tracks. If none of these stories make you want to go home and cry to your mommy, this part might do the trick. There are not only ghosts that lurk within the dark tunnel. The railroad tracks are still being used today by real trains. So before visiting, I would make sure you have life insurance, or a will at least, because you could get hit by a train. Knowing the dark history of the Tunnelton Tunnel, my crew and I set out to Tunnelton, Indiana. When we went there, we were greeted by this strange dog.
What the hell is this dog doing?
Why is he not moving?
What is going on? Dude!
Move! Move!
Dude!
You need help? Everything okay? Another dog.
After coming in contact with the strange mutt, we went deep into the forest and came upon the big tunnel. Before we entered the tunnel, we decided to take some video. My brother captured something strange on camera. At the time of this recording, none of us heard the sound of the gunshot, which is very strange. Not knowing at the time that we caught potential evidence, we headed into the dark tunnel in hopes of running into Headless Dixon.
Temperature changes right when you're in the middle of the tunnel. It is completely silent. Whoa.
Suddenly, I was met with a mysterious aroma.
Pitch black, and it does smell like, I don't know if it's soot or gunpowder.
I went ahead online and did some further research and found Tunnelton was an infamous site for mafia crimes. During the 1920s, mobsters supposedly dragged a man into the tunnel and shot and killed him, execution style. Are we hearing a residual haunting, echoing over and over for eternity?